Hello and welcome to this video on the Red Wing Iron Ranger model 8085, which is also known as the Copper Rough and Tough. And you can see here, right there's the information, Iron Ranger Copper. It's actually Copper Rough and Tough, but it is what it is. So I wanted to, this is going to be a faux unboxing, of course, because I got these at a brick and mortar Red Wing store. So, obviously they've already been tried on, but let me show you the boot and we'll talk about it for a little bit here. Okay. Okay, let me start by saying the color. What you're seeing here is an accurate reproduction of the color because yesterday I had some 2700 Kelvin light bulbs, incandescent bulbs, and they were making the boot appear very red. So I went out and bought daylight balance 5000 Kelvin, and what you're seeing on the video now is a very true and accurate reproduction of the color. Okay, so I wanted to start by giving you the backstory of me going there and having the fit. So they've got some high-tech plates there at a Red Wing store. You step on a plate. The first plate just gives you your shoe sizes, or your foot, left and right, of course. And mine came out, it was kind of weird. My left foot is a 10D, and my right is a 9E, 9.5E, excuse me. So I thought they would actually be so good as to open two boxes and tailor them to my feet and just have the factory send them, right, the other pair, so they could fill it out. They could have another box of shoes, but they didn't, which is all good. But anyways, I tried on a 9D, and it was way too narrow. It was pinching here really hard. It was super uncomfortable. So the nice lady brought out a 9 wide, and it fits perfectly. So, and they also have a second plate that you step on, and it measures your step, like the pressure you're putting down. You actually walk across that second plate, and it measures your heel strike and the ball of your foot strike, and how high your arch is, and so forth and so on. So anyways, I sat down. She brought out the 9Ds. They were too tight, and then these 9Es were perfect. Okay, so what's next on the agenda? Yeah, it was tight here. So let's talk about the smell. This is, of all the shoes I've ever owned, or boots, this smells like a baseball glove from my childhood. Now these baseball gloves are mostly synthetic, but when I was a kid, the baseball mitts were made out of 100% real leather. And when I smelled this boot, it smelled exactly like a baseball glove of my youth, and it's just a wonderful, intoxicating smell. I mean, the smell of this leather is just unbelievable. So let's just go around the boot and look at it. So what I want to do here, because there's other boot channels, of course, and they tell you the history of the company and blah blah blah, and we don't need to go through that. Okay, I don't need to repeat all that. But what I want to do is give you a close-up, so that if you're thinking about getting the copper, you can see what it really looks like under true, right, daylight balance bulb, which means this color you're seeing now on the screen is absolutely 100% accurate, right? So you don't have to worry about the real boot becoming, shifted to the red, or because I've got the daylight bulb in there. Okay, so there's your triple stitching. Three speed laces, 4 eyelets. Okay, everything looks good. I don't see any problems. It's got the mini lug sole, right? It's not the full lug. Okay, Vibram sole, and you can tell this is a true Goodyear welt, because the stitching here, this is the outer part of the welt, and it's going through, and it's being stitched through the outsole, right through the midsole, or the outsole. So that's really good. I'll show you the inside of the boot. So right now what I'm doing is I'm giving you first impressions, because I haven't worn them. I just tried them on in the store. So this boot here, you can tell the tongue is unlined, and the inside of the boot itself is unlined. Okay, and the tag, the tag is fighting me right now, but you can see there the 80, 85, and it was made in on the tag. It says 11/22, which means the boot was made in November of 22. So there, or was it 23? Let me see. Give me just a second here. No, 2022, 11/22. So they've been kind of in the supply chain or in on the store shelves for, I bought them in December of 23. So it's 13 months they've been manufactured and either sitting in a depot somewhere, like a warehouse, and then that got shipped to the store. So it took 13 months from the time of manufacture until I bought them. And I'll take the other one out so you can see here, just standard, the round laces, right? The tongue is gusseted tongue. So I'll bring out the other one so that you can see. And they're matched up. So a lot of people were complaining, like especially if you look at the blacksmith, the Briar oil slick, there's a person who has a pair on YouTube and they were mismatched. So definitely did not come from the same sheet of leather, right? The same cow, because there was a huge difference in the color and the texture of the leather. So these, it looks like there was some effort put in maintaining some type of, quality control, whereas the leather was matched, possibly coming from the same grain or the same piece of leather, hide. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know, but they're close enough in appearance that could be the case, that it's the same, literally the same cow. I don't know. Okay, so there we have it. Okay, I'm just trying to give you a shot all the way around of what this looks like. Okay, again, today was just kind of a cursory inspection for quality control. Make sure there were no glitches, no errors in stitching or so forth and so on. So let's talk about the break-in. So I put these on in the store, and I just walked on the carpet of the store. And these things, believe this or not, these things were killing my feet. I mean, after just 2 or 3 minutes of walking. So, and I joined the Army as a baby. I went in the U.S. Army at 17 years old, and so I'm used to breaking in new boots, right? And you can't break them in slowly. You get issued a new pair of boots, and that's what you're wearing right off the jump. So you got to break them in on the fly. Here, the good thing is these are so stiff. You can see the thickness of the leather. That is a thick piece of leather. I think it's been measured at about 2.2, 2.3 millimeters or whatever. But what my point is you want to wear them for about an hour a day, okay? And then you take your foot out, and while the boot is still warm from your foot being in it, right, you want to put a shoe tree in there and stretch the leather so that it doesn't. What happens over time, especially with Red Wings, is this has got an exaggerated spring, this kind of convexity here where the toe starts to point up. And if you don't put a shoe tree in there, it's going to get really, really bad. It's going to start looking like a clown shoe. So when you're done wearing them for the life of the shoe, as soon as you take it off and the boot is nice and moist and warm from your feet, put the shoe tree in there and stretch the leather so that you don't end up getting clown shoes. Now, some of the criticisms too have been an exaggerated bulbous toe, and you can see here it's not that bad. And let's talk about the clown shoe effect with Iron Rangers. There's two things that cause the clown shoe. One is the length. Okay, so I've noticed the clown shoe appearance starts at when you get to around size US 11 or 12, because the shoe is so elongated, it gets longer. You really start getting the clown shoe appearance. At US, I think 11 is the threshold. If a US size 10 and below, you don't get that because of the it's so condensed, the boot is condensed, it doesn't get a chance to have that clown shoe. But again, once you start getting around 11 or 12 and this lengthens, you start to get that clown shoe appearance. And secondly is the people who don't use a shoe tree. So people go out and they wear these and they kick them off and throw them in a corner, and then over time that toe will start to lift. It'll start to look like this. And this part becomes exaggerated, sticking up in the air, and that's the other way you can get a clown shoe. So Again, if you are smaller than a US size 10, 10 or below, and you use shoe trees, you should not be subject to that clown shoe appearance. So that's all I have for this. Again, I'm very happy. I'm very happy with the quality of this boot, and I'm going to wear it just inside my house for an hour a day until they're broken in. I don't know how long that's going to take, maybe a week or two. But again, I'm in no hurry to wear these out. There's nothing urgent. So I'll spend an hour a day in them, and just doing regular stuff around the house until they're fully broken in. So I know when I go out, I won't get blisters when I actually wear them out. So that's about it. Again, and the main thing about this video, as you can tell here, this tonality, right? You go from a dark to a light to a darker, and this is true. This is, again, I'm using a daylight balance bulb. So what you're seeing here is true. This is not shifting more brown. It's not shifting more red. This is exactly how the boot appears in real life. Now, my point is, though, is when you get these out into the sun, it's what happens with a brown boot is the red highlights come out in the boot. So I haven't had these on yet, of course. I've already explained that. But when I take these out into the actual sunlight, even though this is a daylight bulb, the sun, there's a certain quality about the sun that cannot be replicated in a light bulb. And what I mean by that is when you wear it out, these are going to shift a little bit red in natural sunlight, whereas they're not. This red is not coming out. I give the story of a redhead woman, right? If you see her indoors, she can appear to have brown hair. And then when she steps out into the sun, the red highlights pop. They come alive, but it takes the sun to do that. It can't be replicated with a light bulb. And it's the same with these boots. The red hues in boots really come out when you get them in the sun. Okay, if you have any questions, by all means, please post your questions. Oh, I can talk price real quick. These were $3.50 in the Red Wing store with tax. There was $20 of tax, and it came out to $3.70. But again, it's a lifetime purchase. If you dollar cost average these out, these will easily last 10 years, right? Especially if you don't wear them every day. Most people have their shoes in some type of a rotation where you wear them, every once in a while. They'll surely last 10 years. So if you dollar cost average it out, $350 over 10 years, you're looking at $35 a year, which is absolutely reasonable. But it's that initial payment, right? When you have to get off $350 at once, it kind of hurts. But again, think about averaging it out over the life of the boot, and you're at $35 a year, which is more than reasonable for this quality of boot. Okay, I kind of went long. I'm kind of ranting here. So if you have any questions, just post them below, and I will be sure to respond to them. Thank you.